Good morning, everyone. So we are doing the poll for, and this is Sunday morning, and we're going to go ahead and do the energy poll for next week, and just kind of see where everything is at. We're going to work with Earth Tarot, we're going to work with Earth Magic Oracle deck, like we normally do, because it just really sets an awesome tone. I really like working with that deck. And then we're also going to change things up a little bit, and we're working with Santa Muerte, or Dias de los Muertos, Day of the Dead tarot deck. And if you're not familiar with the history of Santa Muertos, or Day of the Dead, I go in and kind of check that out. The history is awesome. We're entering a period where the veil between the living and the dead becomes very thin. And the customs around this period of time throughout the world are very interesting to go through and look at. And for me, I am a history person, so I really like going in and just kind of exploring historically how societies deal with the dead. And current day, we are so far removed from, and as a society, here in America, we don't really even touch our dead. Many families don't. It's very a sterile experience with closed caskets. Somebody else handles your loved ones' remains, etc., etc. For families to go through and choose. I know when my grandmother passed away, I had requested to go in and do her makeup and to do her nails, and they said that was not the norm. Most families don't go in and do that, and I spent quite a bit of time in with my grandmother's remains. And to this day, I am so grateful that I had the opportunity and experience to do that, that personal transition from life to death and then rebirth. So anyway, we're going to go through and explore that a little bit. Let's go ahead and get into it, figure out what's going on this week. So let's get this started. Got a lot of stuff moving around. I hope you guys got your votes in. My family went in and got their votes in yesterday. So that has been taken care of. And we're going to go through, let's go ahead and hello, Spirit Energy. Thank you for letting me be an instrument of your insight, support, and guidance as we open to the message you share with us today. Spirit guides, show me clearly. movement in this next week is what this is looking like. This is so we have forest and breath, wind and activation. Now this is the tone or energy for the week. This is our challenge for the week. And then ocean, ebb and flow is our learning experience for the week. We'll get into those just a little bit more. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we have Sunday. So we have the world on Monday. We have the Two of Cups on Tuesday. We have the Three of Wands. Wednesday, we have Seven of Swords on Thursday. We have the Page of Swords on Friday, and we have the Page of Wands on Saturday, and Temperance on Sunday. Now, our energy for the week, and we'll talk about those in more detail as we get as we go into each day. So forest, and our tone, that's breath. And if we think about the cycle between the plants giving us the oxygen to breathe, and how they consume and use the carbon as part of their energy cycle, and that conversion and that give and take that exists in and on our planet. It is amazing how thin our atmosphere is, how small shifts can alter so much of our planet, which is part of the reason why if you have a consistent 1, 2, 3 degree difference globally, how that affects us in such an impactful way. I think it's very easy for us to go about our daily lives, is some of us still being very unaware how much we impact our planet globally. And then also thinking about, our day-to-day interactions, and how out of balance we are. So while I think it's great that we can go through and go, oh yeah, spiritually, let's think about the ebb and flow and this kind of stuff. Let's also just kind of think about, in the harsher reality of things, how we're damaging things. Are we going through and recycling? Get me on a rant here. Are we doing the reduce, reuse, and recycle? I go into quite a few houses during the week, and so very few of them have recycling set up, that they understand recycling. I see pantries and the food that we're consuming, a regular American family consumes, the plastics, that it's something else. So while we're thinking about our breath, and we're thinking about the balance, and we're thinking about the give and take, we need to consider how much take we're doing. And it goes back to the balance of, are we being caretakers, or are we being caregivers? So just kind of thinking about that. Our challenge for the week is wind and activation. The wind can be such a small thing, a warm or cool breeze on our cheek that barely moves our hair, that moves the hair on our skin, or it can be completely catastrophic and earth leveling. and everything in between, the things that the wind creates on Earth, the cycles that it creates. Again, it goes into just the rhythms of the earth, how there's a give and take here. There's also a give and take with the spin of our earth, and how the spin of our earth and how the winds spin off of that earth movement, and how it changes in directions globally. If you've ever studied wind patterns, and how the earth spins, and how it can change longitudinally, it can reverse directions, how as you get closer to the poles, how it changes directions, how the vortexes come off of the poles and interact with those spinning fields longitudinally to the Earth's movement. So a lot going on there. And then curiously, as we get into, it's like an earth science lesson today, as we get into the ocean and the ebb and flow of the ocean, the winds play a part in our ocean movement. There's also a conduction belt that works with our oceans. So the coolness, the ice of our polar regions, and how that relates to the conduction or movement in our oceans, some of it being faster and some of it being slower. How that cold air pushes seasonally into and down into warmer waters, and how those warmer waters seasonally push up into the colder latitudes of our planet. So there's a conduction belt that works in our oceans. The problem is we lose the ice, the conduction belt begins to slow. And so the ebb and flow of our planet then begins to struggle. And when we talk about balance, that's part of the balance in the bigger picture that we need to consider. In the smaller picture, individually, as we think about the ebb and flow of our own life, and how short that in reality actually is. Some of us are lucky to live 100 years or 80 years, how small that is in comparison to the life cycle of our planet and our universe. So as we go through and we think of this, think of that big picture and that small picture, how it influences us, how we breathe in the wind, how we drink in the ebb and flow of the ocean. As we also think about ebb and flow, our planet is made up of 70% water, roughly. We are also roughly individually made up of about 70% of water. The ebb and flow of our moon and the sun's gravitational pull on our planet, and how that affects our moods, our spirit energy, and our physicality is all in play there. So we'll kind of work through that as we work through this week. We are coming up on a full moon too, so that's right around the corner, end of the week. So that is our energy that we're working with for the week. I go through and I post this out individually on this weekly video. Down below, I will add the days of the week through that as we move through the week, for easier access as we move along. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to go ahead and leave those as well. Please do click subscribe. This is a new channel as we go through and bring this online. If you can also leave comments over on the Etsy page. There are other readings that are also available over there as well. Thank you for joining, and thank you, Energy Spirits, for sharing with us your message for this next week. Enjoy your day, you guys.